All right, so I'm continuing my build on the horizontal motor. So this way, horizontal, where the base of this is going to have a magnet like this. It'll be between two sheets of acrylic right there. And then the base is going to have a magnet where it will repel and be like a magnetic bearing. Okay, so we're all caught up here. So what I was going to do, I filled these aluminum square tubes. I don't know if they're called tubes, if they're square. To me, tubes are always round. Anyway, very thin-walled aluminum. I filled them with resin. I was going to cut them actually to 4 inches after I filled them and use them as spacers between the acrylic plates. What I failed to remember was that magnets and aluminum interact. The aluminum would cause a cogging effect, the same way the steel threaded rods would have. I tried these first, thinking that the magnetic wheel would be far enough away from the screw, but it's not. You can actually feel the cogging effect. But I was thinking, because this is aluminum, it's very thin walled, it wouldn't cause a cogging effect, but it does. So I got some acrylic tubing or acrylic bars, very hard. I've got some brass inserts and some brass nuts. And so I'm going to cut these to be 4 inches, drill, screw that in there, and that should take care of the cogging effect. I still think I could probably get away with this, and I may still try it because it's a faster solution because they're already made. In fact, I'm just trying to see. You guys can't see. Let me pull it up. Trying to see if I feel anything. Yeah, I'm not going to feel it going like that. But I'm thinking if there's 4 of them around there and this is spinning, it will definitely, maybe definitely cause a cogging effect. I don't know. I may start with this and see how that works, using these to fasten it, maybe even using these, although these suckers cost a lot of money. And I got the common head screw in type instead of getting the Allen wrench, but it's all right. All right, we'll see. All right, so here's the choice. I've cut this down to 4 inches, which is a perfect perfect height for the horizontal rotor top and bottom. Now, it'd be pretty easy to get the center of this, drill that, put this guy in there, and put this thing together. That would be the easy way. The only regret would be if there's a cogging effect. Then I've got these. The only difficult thing about choosing this over this is I don't have a way to get the exact, I do have a way to get the exact center, but to drill it exact, I need a lathe. I have a lathe. It's a wood lathe. a homemade one, but I don't want to break that sucker out. It's big and I don't know if you guys can see it. It's over here. Hold on. Let me show it to you. Wait, let me take this out of the stand. It's right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a lathe that I made, a wood lathe, out of an old drill press. Basically just turned the drill press on its side and then made the end stock, or and the base for it. And it's really cool. It works really good. And I suppose I could use that to drill the exact center of that. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that I actually need the exact center. Because, this would definitely look cooler with the brass in there up against the acrylic plate once I took the paper off. And so when I first did this, I made the holes based on these guys. These are like 1/2 inch. And so I'm 3D printing now some sleeves that'll go in there to take these 1/4 20 smaller brass nuts or screws, whatever you want to call them, bolts. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with this. All right. Stay tuned. So I did it on a test piece, and of course I again forgot that when you're drilling acrylic, you have to go slow or it's going to gunk everything up. But anyway, I did it on a test piece and it works really well. So this guy will screw in, this guy will, come on. This guy will screw in there, holds it really well. Problem is I did it on a test piece and I only bought enough, so I'm going to have to cut this test piece off and cut it to get this guy out. Because once it's in there, it comes out. Oh, okay. Never mind. Stay tuned. So far, so good. The inserts are going in nice. They're nice and tight. I've drilled the rest of these. Of course, I burned myself about 10 times. Forgetting that the plastic gets very, very hot, but I think I made the right decision instead of going with these. Both of these materials will not affect or not cause any cogging effect. But I did get a suggestion, which I'm going to follow, about putting holes. Although this is kind of open and it's not covering the whole thing, but I think I will put some holes in here to allow for airflow. Anyway, let's keep going. So will miracles never cease? I would have bet the farm that the last one I did would have screwed up, but it didn't. So now I'm printing out the sleeves because, like I said earlier, the holes I made were a little bit too big, and so I'm printing out these sleeves, and I should have this thing together today. Yeah, so I'm not gonna do the aluminum, but yeah, hold tight. All right, it's looking good. So that's going to separate the 2 pieces of acrylic. I have my bearing holders in there, which went in nice and easy. I have my spacers here. Let me push that guy up. And I'm printing out washers. These washers that go, these washers that go in between the acrylic rod and the plate. Yeah, Thank God the stuff I need to print isn't going to take forever. I got to get some of that string off of there, because I printed them with brims. For those who don't know what a brim is, if you have a print that's either really small, really thin, and you want it to stick to the build plate, and you don't want to use, because I don't use glue sticks at all, or hairspray, or any of that nonsense. I shouldn't call it nonsense. I don't use that. I use the Wham Bam texture plate, heated bed, print stick just fine. But a print like this, if I were to print this, well, maybe not this one, but a brim is an extra layer of filament that lays down flat, going from the edge of the print, which holds it down to the plate, stops it from warping, or even stops it from slipping, from not sticking. I print everything that is small or is thin. I print it with a brim. If it's really small, I'll print it with a raft. A raft, just as it sounds, prints down a layer of filament first and then the print on top of it, which can be okay sometimes. It will leave a rough bottom on. Anyway, that's not what this is about. All right, so I'm waiting on the washers, and then we should be good to go. What I'm going to do, what I may do is okay, so while I'm waiting, so this will go like this, right? Can't really see it because of where the camera is, but there'll be a plate that goes along the top of this, and then I have to build something to support this. All right, I don't want to follow it through with, trying to put the rods all the way, trying to follow it through like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other half, or my other sheet of this, and build some sort of a platform, probably going lengthwise like this, either on the outer edge like that or on the inner edge. I should have thought about that before I did it. I could have made these in a little bit more, but it should work. It should be all right, because I have the washer there, but I could take that washer off. If I took the washer off or cut a slot into it, I can easily put this on the outside, or I could just cut it shallower and go from here to here, right? All right. All right, a little update. So I figured the best use of that last 3/8 sheet I have would be to create the base. So this is the bottom. So you're looking at it upside down now. This won't be there. This will be on the other side. And so I'm going to put 2 sheets like that, and then one like this, but smaller, or something like that, because I have to be able to get in and out. And again, this is upside down, so it'll be so it'll be like this. So this will be like this, like that, and then and then this will be in the back here. And I haven't figured out how I'm going to do the back yet. I don't know if I'm going to lift it up and put it along the edge here, or cut it so that it sits in between there. I haven't figured it out yet. I got to go see if my washers are done, and then I can start putting this bad boy together. All right, so the only damn thing I'm waiting for now are the other washers to print out. So this guy will go in between here. Oops, so you guys see, it will go in between here. This lines up perfectly. And then this whole thing will sit on top of the base that I'm going to make. Of course, there'll be 2 more acrylic rods in there. But yeah, that should work really nice. And then, like I said, it's going to float on top of this magnetic bearing. So now it's just a waiting game for these washers to print out. Ugh. I'm half tempted. I know I have a ton of white ones like this, but I really don't want to mess it up. I want to take my time and just get it done right. See, I even have some gray ones too. I could probably do it with the gray ones. Here, let me see really quick here. Ah, dagnabbit. Yeah, the gray ones are a little sloppy though. And they're a little bit fatter, but they would work. They would look like shit. So I will patiently wait. So everything so far came out pretty good. That should be nice and sturdy. Now I just have to figure out the base. And I don't think it's going to be that hard. So let me get going. So I got the base glued up, as you can see. So this is the top right here. So this whole thing would flip over. And then this would go, you know, obviously in between that. I had to take off the bearing holder to get to this point. I did screw up. I put this on the wrong way, but it doesn't really matter as long as I keep it going in the same direction, if you get my meaning. And so the glue I used obviously is the number 16 acrylic glue. I don't know if I'm going to screw and put screws in there, drill and put screws in there. I don't think I need to. And this glue sets up pretty quickly. It does take a full 24 hours for a complete cure, but I can hopefully put this thing together. I have all the washers printed. Well, actually, I need some more. They're printing out right now. So hopefully I can get this somewhat assembled. All right, so there it is. It's not completely built. I still got to put the top screws in and washers. I'm still waiting for those to get printed out. But yeah, this bad boy will sit right in there. But it will, you know, be inside obviously. And then I just have to measure where I'm going to put this guy. It should be somewhere right there. So I'll have to build a platform for it that I can screw it to, one that I can figure out how to raise or lower. So I just have to put the bearings in now. And yeah, those brass inserts came out really good. All right, hopefully the washers are almost done printing, and then I can kind of put it together. So just to kind of give you an idea, so here's the magnetic bearing. It's going to go up there, and it will push against that magnet there once I have it seated. And so it'll float like this. See how it's kind of floating like that? So I won't need, you know, spacers like I had on the other one. and it should just float on this guy here. Probably about that much, depending on how much space I have on the top here. So I'll have to figure all that out once I get the other washers and I get the top on. Stay tuned. So here's how it's supposed to work. I can't, there it goes. I can't keep the magnet underneath it because it wants to move too much. But anyway, the only friction it's going to have is sideways friction. When it when it spins, it'll just be sideways from the bearings. But now I have to figure out how I'm going to mount this magnet so that it can go up and push against it like that. Anyway, that's probably all I'm going to get to tonight. Hopefully the next time we'll see this bad boy running. Ciao.